Hello, everyone. I'm Brahm Mithra. We are once again joined by Jay. Hello, Jay.
How's it going?
It
That's my
is the end of the month. Shop releases. This was a big month. We no longer have
yeah.
Countdown for Millennium Butcher.
Calenium has dawned, yes.
Millennium has launched. I have done videos on Millennium. You can see me unbox Millennium. You can see me review Millennium. You can see me play Millennium. They're all there. So we need to find something else to always await now.
Yeah, COD in 2027 or whatever.
Well, sure, but I meant more waiting for shop updates. So now we what do we await the Nucalope?
Wake the Nucalope
Yeah,
in
yeah.
again 2027.
All right. So this was the February 2024. There was no beta release this time, which is fine because we did end up getting Millennium. We also got the
Right.
reprint of 10th Anniversary, the long-awaited reprint.
With updated rules, yes.
Yes, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what was said about that and everything. Then we got some two painters. Well, no, one's a bust, but that was a Zelda bust. The other one is a painter scale of Lunar Aya. So those were quick turnarounds. Neat to see that they were divided. I want to say that's great. I want to give the props to them for doing that, for not, because I think the fact that Lunar Aya was last month and then Lunar Painter Scale was this month shows that they probably split them, which is great. Rather than put them both together and then have the box itself be like 60 or 80, which is great. So thank you for doing that. And we also got a new generic. So we got the generic Male Knight. Couldn't
Yes.
possibly be more of a generic name. I love it.
I mean that is he is the blonde, blue eyes Nightman. He
this
is
is
the
most.
protagonist.
This couldn't possibly be more generic.
I mean, I don't know. He could have a ponytail. That
Yeah.
might make him. It's just Alucard. It's just heavy
Yeah.
armor Alucards.
But this is great. This is good news. For everybody who knows,
Male echoes
Echoes,
are on.
yes. Echoes of Death. The Echoes of Death are always taken. They're like a rebrand, a reimagining. They're
Oh,
kingdom
for sure.
deathifying, canonizing generics.
Yes, essentially, the concept is that generics exist in an alternate timeline slash universe from the main universe, like Death High, and echoes are the canon versions of the generic line.
Yeah.
Uh,
So this is a male,
yes,
meaning that we're eventually
they're
going to
on the
see
way.
they're on the way. Whether we need all four of them, or maybe we'll just get three dudes and one guy, which is fine. Worked out for Brave.
Hey, you know what? That's not wrong.
So, generic
Fair
male
enough.
knight. You want to read the lore for that?
Sure. When the knight's weapon is first used, they are sundered from their attachments. The scorched air and burnt, broken promises fertilize the ground, making this the only place where arbor grows. Which feels like half of a shop listing, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean they're probably knowing it's going to become echoes, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Everybody's been asking for male echoes. Look at this. We're on the way. I mean, it's paced perfectly. It's February, then you do March, April, May, June, and then you get your July, August right there in time to launch your four set of guys for Gen Con, right first week of August.
Yep.
Set up perfectly if they do one every week, and then re-sculpt them, get them all four of them out at the same time for Gen Con. That'd be awesome. So that's the other shop listings besides Vignette of Death. Again, we're not really going to talk about Vignette of Death. Vignette of Death, the Millennium Butcher was great. Really cool stuff. So then we had the reprints of the 10th Anniversary Survivors.
Yes. There's no lore or anything on their page. However,
No, and nothing has changed about the minis.
yes, they are the same minis, which is great because they're
Yep.
fantastic minis.
Yes, they're very fantastic minis. 10th Anniversary was always highly recommended because the minis are the starting four just 10 years later, and
Yeah.
the gear grids were not like outlandish. They're actually core gear grids that you could make in core, and they're very good. They're actually like meta gear grids. They're like the types of things you would use with those builds. So
They're like combos of lantern and leather armor.
yeah, and they use weapons that you would expect to see on them. So they're great minis. So they've always been great minis. They've always been highly recommended. And most of the gear is exactly the same as it was, except for it is updated. Everything has a orange back. It is all seed. Everything has the seed keyword.
You can mix these into the seed decks. They are still negative patterns, technically. But that doesn't mean much.
Nothing has changed. They are still the -1 through 6, I think it was.
Yes.
They're still the first patterns, so they're still the same numbers, which is great. All the weapons have been updated. They have the seed keyword and all that stuff. However, there was 2 changes.
So 2 noticeable changes, yes.
Yes, 2 noticeable changes. Now, before we get into this, Taste has weighed in on the fact of whether or not these will appear in a card pack. There's no definitive answer as to whether or not these will appear in a card pack. I think they will.
One can only hope.
I would think they do. Because they've already confirmed that like false messengers and promos stuff will be in that card pack. This is like so similar. Plus the cards are already done. Card pack's not really that close, but again, cannot confirm that it will be in a card pack. And it was not stated that they said they will just be trying, and they're aware that people want them in a card pack. So, no confirmation.
I'm entirely sure what trying means.
Just no confirmation. So I don't know. I know people were asking, even when I was doing my Millennium stuff, asking me why I didn't talk about 10th Anniversary. That's why I wanted to confirm they had the new backs before I talked about it, and I wanted to confirm whether or not it'd be in a card pack. And I can't confirm it, so... let's talk about the changes. Let's talk about one change to the pattern specifically, which is Tempered Spear. The spear itself does not change. I still think the spear is very good for what it is. I think this spear has always been super niche, and I think nothing about that changes. It's just now lesser viable to just make on a whim.
Yes, now you don't use this, unfortunately.
Well, you do for that niche, 100%.
Okay, I guess if you really, really want to, you still use this.
Yeah.
However, no longer, I would say it is no longer a general gameplay option.
Yeah, you're just not probably making this on a whim because you probably don't have the material laying around. Before you had material laying around, and you might just be like, I'll make this because why not, right? I'm using Lantern. This fits well with Lantern. I complete all the affinities, right? Kind of like that kind of thing. Now it's more of, I want a trapper build, and this is part of that, so I'll make it.
A specific use case.
Yeah,
scenario.
super niche. It was pretty niche before, but now it's like only that niche is the only reason to ever go after this. And why is that? That's because it costs Scrap Bone Spear now instead of Scrap Bone Sword.
Yes.
Now,
So let me preface this with the actual combined gear resource cost is, I think it's only 1 bone higher, technically.
Yeah.
However,
Scrap Bone Spear is free. Scrap Bone Sword is free.
Scrap Sword is free.
Yeah.
You get it from debris. You get it from hunt events. I think you can get one from the Mouth Settlement event.
Yes. There's lots of ways to get a scrap sword. Lots of ways. And Scrap Sword is also not that bad.
It is not frail, unlike the
spear.
The spear. It's not frail. It's deadly. It's got decent strength. It's got I think barbed 4.
Yeah.
It's got good affinities.
Or 2. That's 4, yeah.
Yeah, the daggers.
Yeah.
But the thing about, like, I have made scrap spears, or scrap swords rather.
Yes, like, they're not bad.
If you can get a weapon crafter online, like Lantern Year 3 or 4, and build a scrap spear or a scrap sword. I keep saying that.
Yeah.
It's great against Butcher.
Yeah.
It's great all the way up through, like, I would say level 2 Lope.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go
I,
sword specialization in core, it's your first step.
it is it's the best step.
It's better than bone sword.
It's definitely better than Bone Sword.
Yeah.
And until you get like a blacksmith online, unless you have like an adventure sword, I guess.
Well, okay, yeah.
Yes, what I'm saying is
Yeah, yeah.
it is kind of the poster child of the weapon crafter in my head.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. So that's a pretty big difference. Scrap bone spear is not on any path really toward. You're not building towards something. I guess the only reason why you'd ever build scrap bone spear, and I didn't even build it. I remember when scrap bone spear first came out, I gave it the benefit of the doubt, and I said, well, with the node system, you're not going to have Lope anymore, and you're not going to have Lion. So there's no spears because Gorm doesn't have a spear. Croc didn't have a spear either. So I was like, well, if you want to go spirit specialization, you probably go that down. But then you're not. You're just not going to. Even playing with it, it's just easier to if you want a spear to go the smog route. So like it's not really on a path forward. So
Smog has a spear. I would argue the Amber Poleaxe is
yeah,
way
that's
better.
that's what I mean. It's just not a route you're gonna go. Even with the node system. Now that I've played with the node system and replaced Lion. Scrapbone Spear is just not on your path. I can't even,
off the top of my head, think if there's any seed spears, but there might be.
Well, this one.
Okay. Besides ones that cost. Point being, other options if you're not using Lion.
Yeah. I mean, this early? No, not really. There's other ones. There's other pattern ones that you can get like from. Indomitable resources and stuff. Like Zell. Zell's that's a sick spear.
Yeah.
But anyway, I still think this is very good for a trapper build. And, for Cyclone, you put this in Cyclone armor, and it's so easy to complete these affinities. Put a blue charm on, you're canceling the trap like 75% of the time. It's pretty sick, so I still think it's pretty good. It's not like this makes the weapon worse. It just makes it less viable.
It's the same concept as the monster grease price increase.
Yeah, pretty much. You just make less of it.
Exactly. It's more of an investment, and it's more of a thing like, okay, I need this for this grid.
Yeah.
So I'm going to build. It's not I have a scrap sword over here. Might as well.
Yep. You're just not going to have the resources laying around anymore. Basically it. So then we have Telseric ITAC.
Yes.
This was changed from, I don't even remember what it was. It used to be roll, at the start of your act, roll 3 hit location dice, and then whenever you are attacked, you can use those hit location dice instead.
It's like banking.
Yeah, which wasn't bad.
But this is at least more streamlined, and it makes more sense.
Yes. The other thing with the old Telseric ITAC was it didn't say May. Right?
Oh, come on.
No. So when you rolled those were the 3 you had to use when you got attacked.
Yeah,
you had to use them.
Head.
So that's what's the issue, right? This is now you may. This says it. Yeah. The Telseric ITAC says you may do it. So even if it hadn't changed at all, just the fact that it says may makes it better. But it did change. Now it's costs an action, and then you put 3 tokens on this. They don't go away. You can put as many tokens on that as you want for spending an action. You could get up to like 50 tokens if you wanted.
Yeah, it does not say this card now has 3 tokens.
Yeah, you just put 3 tokens on this, and then you may spend a token on this to re-roll one of your hit location dice, which is great. And then re-roll rules apply where you must keep the new result. You can't re-roll or re-roll. But this is just better.
It's more streamlined.
Yeah, it's much more. It reads much more like the new design of King of Death, like the stuff you'd see in Gambler's Chest, stuff like with the tokens and stuff. Lots of token stuff.
The Magic the Gatheringification of KDM actually streamlined.
Yeah, the rules are streamlined, but I just meant like putting tokens on things is like huge Gambler's Chest. Even like Black Knight has put tokens on stuff. Tokens on things, put things on things.
I love it.
So I think this one's really good. I think it helps White Lion.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I think this is great. I still liked the old one. The old one was after I had gotten clarification, after I discussed it with Taste. the fact that you could still dodge with the old Telsric eye attack, because I thought you never could because you're not rolling hit location dice, but you can. Even though you're not rolling the actual hit dice, you can still dodge. So,
and you are able to
Yeah.
dodge these even after you re-rolled them.
Yep.
Still,
exactly. So, it's an
it's
improvement with the clarifications. They're not as bad as they used to be, and this is much better, much more clear, much more streamlined, much better. I like it. So that pretty much wraps everything up for 10th anniversary. I just want to make a note that if you ordered it and you received ones that do not have the seed pattern backs and everything, please make sure you reach out to support. They are replacing it with the new ones. There was an issue where some people were getting the old version of 10th Anni. So if you're one of those people, make sure to check. Make sure you did get the updated 10th Anni. But moving on to the white box of the month, Morgan.
Yeah. So, Laura, she traveled in the land of vivid auroras, hanging in successive curtains of heavy red and voltaic blue. She drifted through them, her aura washed in her strobing power until she passed into the land beyond, her destination. At the end of the aurora, there was a meadow of negative darkness. She passed like a shadow, darkness on darkness, until she reached the cairn of shining stones, their light flickering and sputtering, absorbed by the treasure within. She plucked the dream, waiting in the center. It shone as nothing for as far as she could see, punching through the shifting sheets of light like a beam of void. Clutching the dream, she was born at that moment of extinguishing. At the moment of extinguishing that marked the passing of the lantern year. A new lantern ignites the settlement, an ominous violet aura glowing within. New dreaming lore dropped.
Yeah, the dreaming is quite something.
We don't quite know what it is.
I'm not 100% grasping on what it is. Whenever you get new lore of something, you always have to reconstruct everything you thought you knew about it.
Go back, read everything else.
Yeah. So she includes 4 things.
Yes, technically.
You get an install guide, which is worth reading because it changes how you use this. So it is worth using. We're going to start with this install guide because it is unique. So she includes a character card, and the character card is the fuel for all this stuff. Unless you're not using the character innovations. If you're not using the character innovations, it's just the next time a survivor is born, they'll gain this. So you could have pretty much, you can tutor a savior with this, which is pretty interesting if you're not using the character cards. Character cards are harder to tutor, but I mean, maybe eventually there'll be a way, but...
However, if you have multiple of these white box character cards...
You can't. They're legendary ones. You can only have one in the deck.
Oh, no. For the non-character innovation rules.
Oh, yeah.
If you start a new campaign and you have, I think, Atlas Chaps had one.
Just buy 30 Morgans.
Yes. No. Point being, if you start a new campaign and you're not using the character innovation and you're using these rules, so you have Assless Chaps, Morgan, and Loon, that all of them only say, because you can only have one character card per character. So it's just the first survivor. You have to pick from all of your white box ones because they can't have multiple, and it's the first survivor.
Correct.
Which is a little bit funky.
Yeah. But for this specifically, if you're not using character innovation, when someone's born, they will be born a savior. And then they're going to get the Dream of the Heart ability, and the Dream of the Heart ability is you are a savior. Gain 1 permanent red and blue affinity, +1 speed, and these abilities. And then it's the Ulthwarda and Life Exchange. Life Exchange is the normal savior ability, so that's nothing new, but the Ulthwarda we'll talk about. But then if you use the character card innovation itself and actually use this to become a savior, the character cards themselves are when the character is named, they get a character card. So, if you can get yourself to be a savior via some other means, whether that's being born a savior, just do so before you have a name. Whether you're born, you make a survivor, and then you've sculptured the ethereal pact or whatever, the one that makes you a savior. You could get that fighting art. You could become a savior. Then name yourself. Then draw this. You will be a double savior.
It's alternatively, if you've had your name erased and get a new one,
Yeah.
i.e., Slenderman, or I guess Killennium, actually.
Yeah, there's ways to get your name erased.
Yeah, you can have two dreams.
Yeah, you could have two
Oh,
dreams active.
savior all the way across the sky.
Yeah, so you could be a double savior, which is really, really interesting. Being
Life
a,
Exchange doesn't stack, but the other abilities do.
yes. So that's interesting. Otherwise, this is just a character card. The character card is, like I said, that's going to be the fuel for this fire. It's going to. You can't do any of this stuff without. There's no way of picking violet as your dream color. It would have been neat because they did include another concept art with this.
If there was an art, a full
art
art
card.
Art Multiwarda.
Yeah, it would have been neat had that been like a bookmark. Because I don't know when bookmarks are ever going to be used, or if they're ever going to be returned to. But if you were ever going to return to it, it would have been to add more colors to saviors, right?
Yes.
That would have been the perfect opportunity. It would have been neat for that character card to be a bookmark. Then you could have put a whole blurb in there, like a whole lore thing. You could have said, like just like the other ones have. Then include the Orthwater on the back of that, and had it just been a bookmark. That would have been neat. You wouldn't need the living glossary card then. You just had the bookmark. Would be neat, but that's how it works. Now let's look at Ulthwarda itself. At the start of your act, you may declare Ulthwarda X in a loud booming voice. If you do, ignore the effects of X special rules until the end of your act among the following: cumbersome, early iron, frail, sentient, slow, unwieldy. X cannot be more than the total pairs of red and blue affinities. When your act ends, you gain X hunt experience. So this is the biggest change right here. When you trigger your second hunt XP milestone, gain Heart of the Ulthwarda Secret Fighting Art. This is a massive change. This works with Gambler's Chest, works with Arc Survivors. Currently, regular saviors don't because they all say when you gain age 2. And Arc Survivors do not age, so they never gain the benefits of age 2, so then your Arc Saviors will never gain their Dream Secret Fighting Arts. This is a massive change. Hopefully Living Glossary updates all the old red, green, and blue ones to say when you trigger your second Hunt XP milestone. That would be great. Either way, this works with Arc Survivors, so this is a huge plus. Then we have the Heart of the Ulthwarda. Jay, you want to read this?
Okay. You may concentrate, which basically means skip your act. If you do, perform Heart of Ulthwarda at the start of your next act. You reach into the dream and pluck out a dying lantern and replace your own. You cease to exist. A survivor that died this showdown takes your place. Replace your model, as in your miniature, and survivor record sheet with theirs. They use your gear grid, heal, erase a permanent injury, and gain +6 hunt XP. They don't keep this ability, or this fighting art, nor do they keep the Ulthwarda ability. So it's a one-time use. Unless you are using the character innovation and draw Morgan's character card again.
Correct. So this is, you cease to exist. A survivor that died the showdown takes your place. Replace your model with and survivor record sheet with theirs. They use your gear grid, heal, raise permanent injury, and gain +6 hunt experience, and return to life. I'm assuming is what happens. It shouldn't be just a temporary showdown effect.
This is weird on a number of levels.
Yeah, I'm assuming the thing here is it should say they return to life.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, of course. Of course it should say that.
Even beyond that weird foible, this is weird on a number of levels.
Yeah, everything else is just really interesting, right? It's like
it's very interesting. It doesn't like echo or mirror the Ulthawarda ability at all.
Yeah.
Like the RGB ones, at least, are this like they rhyme with their abilities. This
Yeah.
one is a completely different effect.
Yeah.
I guess you would use this. Well, no, because you have to like set it up with concentrate, so it can't even be like, oh, I'm about to die to Flower Knight doing 18 damage, or something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use this. No, you have to concentrate.
Yeah. Constraint's not easy.
And if you choose to concentrate, you can't stop this. It doesn't say may. So
yeah.
if you start this, it's gone. It's done.
Yeah.
It happens. So it's. I'm not sure the case use of this personally, unless you have like
Yeah.
I don't know,
Your savior's about to burn out. This is perfect for the double savior. Cutting in real quick. This is now me just editing from this point forward. Jay and I had spent some time discussing how this would work, because the card reads that you cease to exist, meaning you would die. That's what cease to exist is, but it's been clarified that ceasing to exist is different than death. Ceasing to exist is never defined on the Living Glossary or in any rule book, but ceasing to exist is different than death. So when you cease to exist, you're not triggering death, so any cursed or irreplaceable gear in your gear grid would remain in your gear grid, so when the new survivor takes over, even though the card says you're replacing your mini with their mini and stuff, they're actually taking all of your gear grid, even the stuff that would normally not be there if you died. So the cursed gear remains. So it says cursed and irreplaceable gear are tied to the gear grid of a specific survivor. Removal of the specific survivor tied to the gear grid would cause removal of the gear as well. Though I do agree it's worth clarifying the Living Glossary. Yes, so ceasing to exist is not death. I think in any other instance aside for this purple savior, it wouldn't matter. But yeah, the way this works is this card's gonna. Well, it's not even the card, I guess. I guess it's just the rules of ceasing to exist. We don't know the rules of ceasing to exist, but the way this works is your gear will remain, which is interesting. I don't know when you would ever use this, right? I still don't know, even though I'm cutting out where Jay and I were talking about it, I don't know why you would ever use this or in what circumstance. Because the new survivor's gaining 6 hunt experience, I guess maybe if you wanted to quickly age up a survivor so they could trigger a milestone or something. Or maybe if the survivor who died was ageless and it doesn't matter if they're gaining hunt experience, or if you're really connected to that survivor and you just want them to be alive. I don't know. I mean, if you're not connected to the purple survey, if you're not really connected, like if you don't care if the purple savior is going to live or die, and you just, I don't know, maybe you trigger like a champion rank, right? Maybe you want to trigger a high ranking of philosophy that kills you, and then they die during the showdown. They trigger this high rank, they do something really cool, they die, and now your purple savior is going to bring them back. Because that other thing is only once per lifetime can you trigger that, and I guess you coming back, you're not gaining a new lifetime. So you don't have to worry about those things triggering again, like the rank 4s of some knowledges. You wouldn't have to. You'd escape the penalty. You'd get all the benefits, but then you'd die. Or maybe you're. I don't know. It's really tricky to use. I'm sure there's some ways to use this, but mainly you just want to save the survivor you're really attached to, and you don't care much about the purple savior. What this really shows. What this really boils down to is it shows how neat the character innovation deck is, right? As much as I would have liked to have Purple Savior be a bookmark and stuff, it's really cool that the character innovation can have these cool, like, very unique builds locked to them, right? The only way you're going to do this right now is with the character card. So if you want purple savior, that's a character innovation, unique thing. That's cool. It's ways to get saviors outside of regular old lantern campaigns without intimacy. There's other ways of doing it, but I mean, like, you could just have character cards now that are saviors. Like, I could totally see in the promos of Death when Snow gets her character card, she'll just make people saviors. So when you draw this character, you are a savior. That'll be really neat. I don't know how that works lore-wise, but whatever. Still neat, right? So this is really just an exploration of how cool the character thing will be in the future, right? There's a lot of potential to do cool and unique things with that deck. As far as the Purple Savior itself, yeah, it's neat that it's unique and cool. I don't know why you would be killing someone to save someone else, specifically for them to be in your gear grid. I guess the full heal is nice. It's always nice to get a full heal, which you will do. So it's still cool. Again, I'm just really glad that the character innovation exists. So, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.